Hello everyone. On January 3rd, the Holy Orthodox Church commemorates the memory of our Mother among the Saints, Genevieve of Paris. Now, Genevieve was born to wealthy parents in the city of Nanterre, which is about 4 miles outside of the Paris city limits. In those days, there was a great devotion to the celebration of the feast of the Nativity of our Lord Jesus Christ, which was celebrated with great anticipation and a lot of energetic spiritual activity. This made a great impression on Genevieve, of course, as did all of the many feasts of the Orthodox Church. She was someone who was raised by her parents to be pious, devoted. She was intelligent and very spiritually adept. At one point, Saint Germain came through Nanterre on his way to combat the heresy of Pelagius in Britain. Now, of course, the heresy of Pelagius was that which proclaims essentially that mankind is able to turn to God and find His grace without any sort of help from God, which of course was a great heresy. And it was the cause of the destruction of many souls in Britain at the time. But the great bishop decided to come through Nanterre on his way, and the people rushed out to meet him, including Genevieve and her parents. Now, when this happened, the bishop saw the young girl and became enthralled with her spiritual acumen and her personality in general. And he spoke to her about many spiritual things, and eventually was able to extract a promise from her that she would preserve her virginity and that she would dedicate her life to God. So he gave her a medallion and said, "Don't wear any other jewelry except this medallion as long as you live." And Genevieve did this. And then eventually, at the age of 15, she did become a nun in the city of Paris, and not long after was becoming renowned for her spiritual acumen, for her kindness, for her love towards all of the locals who would flock to her, even at a young age, and seek out spiritual advice from her, which she gave freely and with all humility. Ultimately, some of her detractors, who were perhaps jealous of all the attention she was getting, threw morals charges at her. And if you look at the lives of the saints of the Orthodox Church, you will see that this is a very common thing, because a morals charge is something that usually sticks and is impossible to disprove. Saint Nectarius of Egina underwent something like this, as did many of the saints. But her supporters were able to fend off of these accusations, and her reputation was restored. Eventually, Paris was under the threat of Attila the Hun and his armies, and many people were wanting to flee the city to protect themselves. And Genevieve begged them, saying, "No, please stay and pray, and the Lord will defend us." And again, her detractors came at her saying, "What are you doing? Because you could be responsible for the deaths of many people." And she said, "No, trust in the Lord." And then suddenly, without any kind of indication as to why, except maybe only known in the mind of God, Attila turned and didn't come towards Paris, but went towards another city instead. Genevieve lived to a ripe old age of 89, finally reposing in the year 512. And during that time, she had become almost the unofficial patron saint of that city, even though she was still alive. She developed a great dedication to the memory of Saint Denis, or Saint Dionysius the Areopagite, and had a church built to him. And upon her repose, she was buried there, and her relics interned there for many years. But at the time of the French Revolution, many of the relics were destroyed or lost, although some still exist. But it's important for us to remember the memory of this extraordinary woman who is so beloved by the citizens of Paris and all of France, and who is deserving of memory in the Orthodox Church at large, because she fully fits into the model of so many of the great saints, even those that lived in the desert, because none of them had anything on Saint Genevieve, who continued to live her entire life in dedication to the Lord. By her prayers, may we all do the same. Bye-bye.